Must you keep a diary? You do keep one, don't you?
No, I never actually did. I do now. I keep what I really think of as a journal more than a diary. I think a diary is sort of something one does. Dear diary, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'll now make a few notes as to what the hell went on during the day, you know. Well, the last 10 years, and I started, to tell you the truth, I started smoking some grass a few years ago. And at that time, I immediately started writing in a different way than I'd written before. I wrote just for the joy of it, night and day. And I've got about 1,000 pages.
I'll tell you the truth, too. It's funny when you do that, how all of a sudden the pencil goes into your hand. Now, you will laugh, and you start writing things down. And you write very perceptive things down.
Beautifully.
The joy is to read it back 4 or 5 days after you write it down and say, you know, damn it, that's right on the mark.
That's right. That's right. A lot of people don't know that.
Damn right. Damn right.
That's right. And I wish more people knew that.
Well, but there'll be a lot of people, like there was a man here the other night from the Coptic Church, not the one that was the trouble in Egypt, but this group in Florida. And they use like 30 pounds of marijuana a month, the members of the church. I mean, they really, they boil it down, Sterling, okay? I mean, there was a cloud of smoke in the studio that went back to the back row. And, of course, I was very skeptical of that, and I thought, you know, I would poo-poo what this man does, and then I will stand by and say, let us spray more malathion on the medflies in California. Let us put more of that out and applaud that.
Again, it's tremendous.
So how you doing with the grass?
I found one thing. After all those years, I used it quite diligently and beautifully for a long time. I've tapered off a good deal now. Tapered off because I find the very thing that I thought for a long time, and this is right from the gut. For a long time, I found, not that I thought, but I found that it enabled me to hold booze at bay. Then I found perhaps that maybe as I was getting older, perhaps more perceptive, perhaps more whatever, the excitement, the glory, the beauty of the weed would get me so exquisitely happy that I thought, all right, I don't want any more grass, which, as we know, is the way it goes, which is part of the magic of it. Now, what do I want to do? I want to slow down. I would feel like I had a little volcano burning here, which I do sometimes when I'm straight. Sometimes we get hooked up. You're damn right. I was that way this summer, and I wasn't using anything except sometimes I would just feel like this. Now, the great friend under those conditions I submit to all of us is certainly, for me, port wine or almost anything else that has alcohol in it. You know what I mean? You know? Yeah. Old Omar Khayyam. I read a quote the other day. Omar Khayyam, tent maker, wasn't he? He said, "This and this only I ask from wine, to let me forget myself for a bit." That's when you come right down to it.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't drink because we're scared to walk into a room, huh? I don't think. You know? No, hell, I never drank that way. We drink. No. We drink. We're not talking about drinking, of course. We're talking about the abuse of drink, aren't we? I mean, to be serious here. But in a way, it leads back to the thing that I think a lot of us have a great deal of trouble in comprehending, which is, so long as alcohol is advertised so handsomely in our leading magazines, I mean, who can look when you're trying not to drink and you turn, let's say you read the New Yorker, or Playboy, or whatever you're reading, you know, and these great big full-page ads, and everything's dewdrops, you know, and I'm thirsty, man. And I don't necessarily want Borden's, huh? So long as we're going to embrace that so avidly, and then to take something as benign as the weed and outlaw it is a little bit preposterous. I know history will.
But the thing that I think must be said about alcohol and about the weed is that in the main, in one's lifetime, they are but distractions. They are little distractions as we go through. You see, the problem is if you focus your whole life, as some people do, on...
no, I'm not talking about that.
No, but you know what I'm talking about here. If you accept it as a distraction, or maybe a better word would be a diversion in one's life, rather than the main reason that one is alive, then I think you can keep that stuff under control.
Yeah, the logic is impeccable, but I'm not sure that the practice...
Yeah, but the end result is not what we're looking for.
Well, no, I don't mean that. I mean, it doesn't seem to work out that way with some of us, does it? I mean, who was it? Baudelaire said, some of us, not all of us, but some of us have a taste for the infinite, huh? So that means, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I find, I don't know how we draw a line of demarcation between shall we say, a distraction and just hard driving, creative living. To me, they sort of come together or go together or blend. They're all one and the same. And as we move around, particularly, I think if we travel a hell of a lot. No, you don't have to travel to do it. Just because I've traveled, I guess I say that.
You've worked hard in your life, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you've also played hard.
Yes, sir.
I think if you do both to the same degree, whether it's hard or not so hard, but if you do both in the same I'm looking for
the
a
same
word.
passion.
Yeah, exactly. If you apply the same passion to your work and to your play,
Yes.
I think you're okay. I think you have a balance.
I think so. I think it's beautifully said. You know, I was thinking, I said to somebody the other day, I think so long as one has, might we say, an obsession, I think they're very fortunate, very fortunate. I meet people sometimes, kids, and they're 24, 25, and they're still adrift. Okay, I'm a great one for believing in being adrift. But I know that when I look back, I had the obsession, in my case it was ships, ships in the sea. And my heavens, and then it's great because you relate to everything, you know. And then it changes as you go along through the years, perhaps. But it must be an obsession, must there not, huh? That's where people can be very happy doing damn near anything, can't they? Huh? Unless it's too rough. Unless it requires regular attendance in an office or something. That must be difficult.
Yeah, regular attendance.
Yeah, I don't think I could make an honest
Well,
one.
I have to have regular attendance, and that's sometimes...
I know you do.
Yeah, that
I
gets
know
in
you
the
do.
way. I look forward to the weekends when attendance is not obligatory, you see. What about this thing now where they're all writing the books in Hollywood? The great thing about your writing is you don't rat on people. You don't tell things that I don't want to hear, like this, the Joan Crawford book, and I think there's one on Bing Crosby out where he was a bad father. Why do we have to know all? Why do they write these books?
I wouldn't know. I don't think it's a decent thing to do. Eh? I think a person like Crawford, and I knew her a bit, and I saw things that I didn't think were exactly the most. What's your beard? Thank you. Delightful things in the world. But on the other hand, Joan Crawford was Joan Crawford, and she brought to millions of people a great deal of happiness. And maybe it was necessary that she be, let's say, difficult. Now, when you see somebody difficult to the children. And I only saw a little of that. I saw a little, I don't want to do the thing I'm...
Yeah, don't do the thing that you're decrying. And a lot of people will not go to see the movie.
No, I wouldn't.
A man said here the other night,
I wouldn't pick up a copy of the book.
Well, as a man said here the other night, when you go to that movie, what you're really doing is you're waiting 2 hours to see a kid get whipped with a wire hanger. And you then have to ask yourself, am I the person that wants to sit in the theater and wait for this big event to happen?
Is that in the picture?
I haven't seen the
Words
picture.
to that effect?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
The time goes too quickly. I have the music to come and all those other things. What are you doing for Christmas?
Be right with my family in Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah.
I may drop by.
I wish you would.
Well,
I wish you would, my friend.
all I have to do is find it, huh?
Oh, we can arrange that.
All right. Sit for 1 second
thank
while I
you.
get to the commercial.
All right.
My thanks to Mr. Sterling Hayden. Always a joy to see you. God bless you, my friend. We'll be right back after these announcements.